Welcome to Quick Pitch What If, where I take an idea or a concept that I have from movie or television, and I pitch it without much thought, research, or pressure. So here we go. The first case study we have today is the plot for Spider-Man No Way Home. So this is going to be a bit different than probably what I do most of the time, because I already recognize that the plot for Spider-Man No Way Home is completed. However, I just wanted to posit an alternative turn of events or an alternative plot for the Spider-Man trilogy in the MCU. Like I said, I just want to reiterate, these are ideas that I have that kind of just pop up in the back of my head that I've given a little thought, but I didn't want the pressure of extensive research and planning and storyboarding, and so these aren't going to be perfect concepts. There's probably going to be holes in my ideas and plots and theories, but it's just something I wanted to share and pitch quickly, because I'm sure other people have ideas that are quick like this and just want to get them out of their head. So here we go. So my quick pitch, what if, for Spider-Man No Way Home actually starts with Spider-Man Far From Home. So I actually had a few changes that I would have made to the character of Mysterio. And the reason why I had these changes is because Mysterio as a villain came into the MCU at a time where the villains and the lore and the spectacle of the MCU was starting to become more comfortable with its more mystic and fantastical nature and counterpart in the Marvel Comics. For example, the Infinity Stones, Thor, and traveling to the dimension with Hulk on Sakaar, to Doctor Strange in the Dark Dimension, just to name a few. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to introduce magic outside of just Doctor Strange's influence and kind of merge that with the character of Mysterio. Another cool benefit from this is that I thought they could use Mysterio and still keep his backstory working for Tony Stark and keep his jaded behavior and things of that nature, but mix it with actual magic. Like, let's make him an actual magic user. And this would be cool because this is how Doctor Doom uses his power. It's a mixture between magic and technology. That's how Doctor Doom uses his power, and that'd be an interesting way to kind of introduce us to what he does in the Fantastic Four movie or whenever we expect to see him. However, on the other side, they may be saving that for his character so we don't see it beforehand. But let's not worry about that right now. So Mysterio isn't just using Edith to accomplish his illusions. The technology of Edith is the stepping stone for him to complete what he has started with magic. So he's been delving into magic because he's been ousted from Stark Industries. And maybe he found something from Dormammu in the Dark Dimension, or some remnants from Caecilius, or for whatever reason he's been delving into magic. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really matter. He's into magic. And the technology of Edith is beyond just the satellite system, but it allows him to take his illusions and his character of Mysterio even further. Now, his team thinks that he's crazy for delving into the mystic arts, but he truly believes in it and gains sort of a working knowledge, something above a basic understanding of it, like a working knowledge of it. And he uses Edith to complete this character of Mysterio that he's been trying to create. Now, the magic that he draws on is slowly going to drive him more and more insane. And we see in the movie that he gets frustrated and fed up, and he kind of has this egotistical personality, controlling, misunderstood artist, genius that he puts on his team. And he puts them down, he talks down to them. He's very particular and specific. And I think we could use the aspect of him drawing on these magical energies from these other dimensions, possibly, since that's something that the MCU has already established, to kind of further this narrative. This is why his actual personality is changing and the character of Mysterio is rising to the surface. And the rest of the movie can happen as planned. Spider-Man can still beat him. He can turn Edith, or get control of Edith, destroy all of the drones, all that stuff. The rest of that's cool. The important part is that Mysterio delves into the mystic arts. That's really the important part. Now, going to No Way Home. Mysterio faked his death. Let's say that. Mysterio faked his death and is actually responsible for the mishap of the Doctor Strange spell, which I know Doctor Strange in the comics actually cast the spell. But in movies, you typically have to do storytelling a little bit different than in the comics. They're usually, and this is why you normally see whenever a protagonist makes some type of a fatal mistake or has some type of fatal flaw, they write it off as the villains undermining and scheming and all of this. And I don't want to take away from, or I don't want to be a stereotypical movie trope, but I think it would be interesting for these two movies to be kind of carried on one arc. Now, just hear me out. Mysterio faked his death and is responsible for the mishap of the Doctor Strange spell. He cast a spell on Peter before he faked his death and has been subtly influencing him this entire time. This way, he can use the energy of Doctor Strange's spell to summon Spider-Man's greatest villains from across the multiverse. And not only does he bring Electro, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, and Sandman, but he also brings the other two Spider-Men. And this is unintentional because he's not a master at the mystic arts yet. He's not exactly sure what he's doing, and perhaps he's being possessed by who's the villain in this movie? Was it Shuma Gorath possibly? Or I think Nightmare is in the Doctor Strange movie, so we'll leave him alone. Or maybe he is being manipulated by him, and this goes into the Multiverse of Madness movie. Who knows? All this can be connected like a big story arc. Who knows? He can also bring Rhino, Scorpion, and Vulture. It doesn't matter. I think my perfect Sinister Six would probably be 2 villains from each of the Spider-Man franchises. So I'm thinking he frees Vulture from prison. We get to see him again because villains don't often return, and I think he had a really cool look and was a very interesting villain. So you can free Vulture from prison, and that'd be Vulture and Mysterio from Tom Holland. We can get Electro and either Rhino, who we didn't see much of and we haven't really seen much of yet. Scorpion, who most people probably won't remember, but I wouldn't mind having Matt Gargan. Or we can just get the Lizard, who wasn't the most interesting, but they could probably fix him with a few rewrites or whatever. And then from Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, we have the 2 that we already saw, Doc Ock and Green Goblin. And I think we did see Sandman, because otherwise why would lightning be striking sand in the trailer? We did see Sandman, but perhaps he just makes a cameo. He isn't actually a part of the Sinister Six, which would make sense because he actually kind of reformed himself if we are seeing the Sandman from Tobey Maguire's universe. But all of this is kind of relative. It doesn't very much matter. They can move things around, shift things how they want. And Mysterio will be leading the Sinister Six. Okay. Mysterio leading the Sinister Six alongside Vulture with suit upgrades, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Electro, and either Rhino, Lizard, or Scorpion will face off against the 3 Spider-Man and Sandman, possibly aided by Doctor Strange. 2 villains from each franchise. And they can have some cool ultimate battle thing. Mysterio and Doctor Strange can be doing magic. 3 Spider-Man can be fighting all 6 of the Sinister Six and have 2 on them at each time. And then maybe occasionally have some Sandman help. I don't know, that might get too messy. Or Sandman can just escape into the universe and not be a part of the final conflict, whatever. And that can be that. Now, as far as the ending, I'm not entirely sure, because with this being Spider-Man's last movie and going back into the Sonyverse, they might just be trying to use this multiverse as a reason, or this multiversal movie as a reason to bring Tom Holland with Tom Hardy and have all of their villains that they want to reuse and whatever they want to do, which is actually kind of smart. I get it, since there's a lot of recognizable faces, and just having them cross over willy-nilly would be difficult. But it would be kind of sad to just see Tom Holland drop into an entirely different universe and he can't get back, or maybe all the people he loves and cares about come with him, and then it's not as sad because the only person he was really close to was, well, besides Happy, was Tony Stark, and Tony Stark's dead. So ending could be just as planned. The only real major change I'm making to this trilogy is Mysterio was the mastermind that kind of caused this entire thing, and he is, well, sort of a mastermind. He's a mastermind that's being manipulated by a more powerful demonic entity that also leads into Doctor Strange. Like I said, just a quick pitch idea. There might be 100,000 plot holes in this, but I just thought it'd be something cool to connect all the movies, bring some villains back, have some villains cross over into other movies and lead into future movies and other crossover movies. So that is my first quick pitch what if that I've ever recorded, and will probably be the first one that I upload. If you want to see more, I have episodes written on Dragon Ball Super, an entire Dragon Ball Super rewrite, which will probably be a very long video, and a pitch for the She-Hulk series. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. There's going to be more stuff like this on this channel. Yep. And let me hit stop record. Yep. All right. Wait, nope, that's not it. All right. Peace.